Good evening, Shaggy SoCal with 2Old4Forza, and time for the next track guide in Season 41 in the CRX. So again, with Thanksgiving holiday coming up, we're not going to race next Thursday night, so these track guides will be for uh, in 2 weeks. So week after Thanksgiving, we'll conclude Season 41. First race will be at Long Beach, and then I think the second race is at VIR. So we'll do the Long Beach track guide tonight. I may, since I've got since I've got at least a week, I may do the VIR guide next weekend. So we'll see how that goes. But anyhow, in the CRX, I'm going to do what I normally do in these guides. I'll go out, run a flying lap, just kind of talk around. Then I'll run a slower lap, just kind of pointing out the things that I look for and how I try to get around the track and what I think the car likes, at least for me. Then I'll do the mock race with the AI just to kind of get some, racing situations up and show off my questionable racecraft. And hopefully that helps you guys find some speed around Long Beach. I love Long Beach, home track for me. So let's go ahead, not to start race. Let's go ahead. So you'll be exiting on the left side out of the hairpin. Usually then getting up, you'll be third, fourth gear. I'll start bringing it to the inside as I get to start finish. Fourth gear, hug the inside. Second, you see the King Taco Bridge. Bring it out of lane, helps line up for turn one. Bring it out a bit, gonna brake just past the 400 board. Down to third. Can use a little bit of that inside paint. Don't hit the curbing, right to the wall. Brake late at the crosswalk, play checking with the wall, right to the inside of the fountain, roll back in. Keep it to the left side. Quick brush brake, turn in. Again, use the paint, stay off the curb. Third gear, brush brake, third gear, look for the Forza signs here on the left side. Again, you go where you point, you won't hopefully not hit the tires. Fourth gear, brake at the blue board just past 300, down to third, turn in, dangerous corner there. Use all of the track that you can. Crest over the hill, back to the left side, brake just before two. Third gear, use a little bit of the curbing there. Again, look for the last Forza sign there to help point you in the right direction on exit. Usually I bring it up to the middle here, heading down Seaside Way, and I'm pointed at the 400 board. That'll get me lined up. I'm going to brake just past 300 if I don't hit the wall. That's a little bit late there. Bring it up, line up under the ES. Just lift, flip that apex, hug the inside, brake at the gal signs on the left, and then turn in late apex on that second painted corner in the hairpin, and you're back onto the front stretch. So that's a very fast talking lap at Long Beach. So again, you'll be in fourth gear at this point. Again, for this turn one, I'm just going to bring it into the right lane here and just hug the inside wall. Now, usually what I do is you could hug the inside wall all the way down to turn one. I'm stopping here. The reason why I like to bring, if we were like in the Ferrari or, like some of the really high speed cars, I just let the car kind of take the track out almost all the way to the left side, passing into the King Taco Bridge here. But in this car, given the speeds, we're not going as fast. You can bring it out just a little bit. The reason why I like to bring the car out to this lane is if you look at the red line that goes all the way down to turn one, there's still a bit of a curve, lining up for the braking point for turn one. So I usually like to bring this out. It visually just it makes it easier for me to spot where I'm going to brake at, even this far back. So let's get up there a little bit. So again, you're going to be flying down here. You'll probably be up in fifth gear. And if you notice, so you can see the 400 board, the one I want you to point on, I'm going to stop here. You notice how the line changes direction. There's like a little bit of an angle or it kind of straightens out, right past the 400 board. That's the other thing I look for. So it's just past the 400, but it's really at this point where you can kind of see the line kinks a bit and straightens out. So it's right about here is where I'm braking for turn one. If you want to be brave, you can. Again, I think I'm going to be neat and tidy here. I think just to play it safe and not really mess with the with the red line. This also is pit exit, so I'd say it's probably not a good idea to get in the habit of trying to cross over into the exit of pit lane, especially if you're rocketing down here and somebody's exiting. You don't want to run into them. So again, brake. I'm in fifth gear. I'm actually going to brake down to third gear here. I think and there's a lot of turns here at Long Beach that are going to be like this, where I think on my own with good momentum, I can do turn one in third. If I'm in traffic or I have to take an inside line or I'm defending, I'll probably downshift it to second. Turn in is right as I get to the 100 board. But the weird thing is as I'm braking to turn in for turn one, I am trying to look left and try and find that curbing on the left side before I turn in. Again, this track more than most of the others is you need to really keep your eyes up and looking ahead and look to where you want to go. Because again, as the theory goes, the car's going to go where you look. And so I want to look for that apex. So I'll turn in about the one. Turn in. Again, you can get on the paint. You can get on the paint without risking track limits. If you get on the curbing where it starts to angle up, that's going to be a little bit too far. So, use that painted surface at your own risk. But I'm going to try to as much as I can because it does allow me to carry a bit of speed. On the exit out, again, this isn't, it kind of arcs in here towards the fountain for the next couple of turns. So I'm going to get it close to the wall here. And I'm going to point the car, the wall's going to kind of continue, turning to the right. But you can see where I'm lined up. I'm beelining and I'm trying to make this entry into the fountain as straight as possible. So again, this would work on my own. If I got somebody to my left, I'm going to have to then kind of continue to follow the arc of the wall to leave a little bit of space because last thing I want to do is run somebody into the wall or set up a situation where then they have to move over and clip the rear of my car and we all spin out and nobody has a good race. So, but on my own, I'm going to line it as straight as possible. I'm still going to be full throttle in third gear, and I'm using this crosswalk as the braking point. So it's a little bit past where it turns red. That's for me. You guys have to figure out where you want to get on the brakes. But it is braking, and I'm playing chicken a little bit with this wall. It wouldn't surprise me if I scrape this wall and lose my mirror at some point during the race. But third gear, heavy braking down to second. I am still on the brakes until I get to the inside of the fountain. So this is about where I'm releasing. And if I've done it right, I should then be able to turn and hug the curbing here on the fountain on the way out. That was turn 2. This is turn 3. Cut it close to the wall, but keep it on the left side. So exiting, getting to the last couple of turns to exit the fountain complex. 1, 2, 3. Turn 4 here is I'm still working this one out, and I think this is one of those, much like turn 1. I'm going to try, like I know on my own, I'm going to try and do turn 1 in third gear. Second, if I'm in traffic or have to compromise my line, or if I make a mistake. Here, I'm still trying to sort this one out because I've done it 2 different ways. One way, I've short shifted to third right about here. And then the other, I leave it in second. But as far as the turn in, it's right about when I get to these next set of white lines. Whether you're in second or third, it's a quick brush brake. And hopefully if you do it right, you can turn in. And much like turn 1, you can use the inside painted surface, but just try to stay off the part where where the curbing kind of starts to angle up. So you can use it where it's flat, but not where it angles, because then you'll get a time penalty. If you do it in second, the car's going to turn a lot easier. So again, it's back to, you've heard me, if you've watched enough of these, talk about, is the car on its heels or on its toes? So if you're in second, it's going to be on its toes, so it's going to turn in a lot easier, a lot quicker, and you'll be able to get here, I think, easier. If you're in third, it's going to probably understeer a little bit more at apex and on exit. I don't know if one is quicker than the other. You guys can sort that out, what's most comfortable for you. Regardless, if you're in second coming out of here, you're going to be upshifting to third pretty quickly, which is why I've been trying to take it in third if I can. But on the exit, I'm going to bring it out here to the left side, get close to the wall. Now you can just see where the signage, the Toyota signage starts on the wall, heading out back to where we kind of hit the backside or start going back the other direction on Shoreline. You'll see that set of Toyota signs. That's what I'm looking for to set up the right-hander for turn 5. So just as I'm getting to this Toyota signs, it also, as you're getting here, I'm also got my eyes over. I can just start to see the breadloaf curbing there at the apex for turn 5. So it's a quick brush brake. And ideally what I'm trying to do is turn the car in third gear, and I'm trying to actually clip the last like two of these curbstones. It puts me a little bit over the line, and it can, depending on how much steering you have or what the weight transfer is doing, it can unsettle the car a little bit. These are enough to mess with the car, but what I'm trying to do is to get the angle so that once I've gotten over that, I'm pointed towards the Forza signs that are on the wall, not towards the tires. So I'm trying to aim for the last two, visually, I'm trying to get my eyes on those last two Forza signs and try to aim at those as far as my arc on exit to try and stay clear of the tire bundles. Because notoriously, one of us is going to end up crashing there. Heck, even Jimmy Johnson, I think, crashed. It's like Jimmy Johnson crashed on all 3 days, at Long Beach, and I think on Saturday he hit those tires there. I think Friday he hit the turn 1 tire, Saturday he hit these tires, and then I think in the race he hit the tires at turn 8. But anyhow, still third gear, arc it out, aim for these last two Forza signs to bring the car over, and as soon as you get here, just naturally let the car start drifting back across third gear. You will bring it up to fourth, and then I will bring the car all the way out to the red line. Now, in IndyCar, if you're Alex Rossi, you have, we can't do it because of track limits, but Rossi in IndyCar, when he goes out, he actually goes all the way out here and uses all of this track to change the angle and the approach for turn 6. I won't. I'm just going to keep it right to the right at the red line. And braking for me is at this blue sign for the 710 freeway aquarium, the blue. So blue sign past the 300 is where I'm getting on the brakes. And so fourth gear down to third, brake, 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 brake. Releasing the brakes and turning in as I get to the 100 board. And this one is, if you're going to mess up the turn in, it's better to be a little bit late than a little bit early, because that wall there is merciless, and it's very easy to turn in too early and clip it. Even just barely, if you catch it with the left front, it's just going to grab the car and your back end's going to spin around. So, but ideally, third gear, same thing. You can use a little bit of that. That's Ducati sponsorship there. Just clip that still in third gear. Let the car come all the way out. Find that red line, and you can cross over the red line, but usually what I do is to help keep me in check from going too far, is I'm actually looking at the white line and treating that as like the point of no return. So I'm trying to keep it to the left of the white line on exit, bring the car up and back across. Cresting over the hill, this is actually turn 7 as they label it. I don't know why, but they do. Bring the car back across. I usually like to bring the car back across a little bit earlier than what the line suggests, just so that I'm straight and parallel here before I get to braking. This one I'm still trying to figure out exactly where. It's right about the 200 board is where I'm getting on the brakes. It might be a little bit before where that palm tree is and the spectators there that we never noticed when we're at speed. But it's right before the 2 borders where I'm braking for turn 8. Again, still in third gear. It'll be in third gear, and I'll probably start turning in just before the 100. This one is tricky. On its own, it's tricky. This is where I wish the track limits were a little bit different, where instead of it being at the red and white curbing, that it was actually the wall, because that's really, it's a street circuit. track limits are the wall. But you want to turn in. You can again get on the over the line there a little bit. You want to do it late. And same thing, much like turn 5, I want to get the car positioned where I can point it at the last 2 Forza signs that are on the wall. Because that's, again, if I can get the car pointed there on exit back to full throttle, it's going to keep me clear of those tire barriers. In the race, this is a calamity corner, mainly because, if you look back, you've got very, very wide, the much wider entry into a narrow exit. So it's one of those, it would not surprise me if somebody's going to take a look on the inside and are pushing somebody into the tires. So just be mindful when you're in traffic at this turn. So again, if you do it right, you should be able to do it in third, bring the car all the way out. Now at this point, what I tend to do is, the back straightaway here on Seaside Way isn't perfectly straight. It does kink about 2/3 of the way down. So usually I'll start bringing the car off the wall and get it about the middle of the track. And what I'm looking for, and I can just make it out now, and it'll become easier. You can see the first 3 braking boards there on the left side on the fence. I'm aiming for the second one. That's the 400 board. So that'll kind of help me, straighten out the back straightaway. You can see here's the little kink. I don't know why they don't make that a turn. Let the car back over. Because I'm looking at the 4, it's going to get me kind of back to the left side and straightened out before I get to braking. I'm braking somewhere just past 300. It might be, just as you pass 300, maybe as the stop sign goes out of view, if you can spot that, or just as the first of the suites there go out of view. Heavy braking there. The other little trick I've started to do, and again, it's a risk because you're flirting with track limits, is once I clear this wall, is I'll actually bring the car over just a little bit more. I'm going to release the brakes about the 1 and turn in. But again, I'm just trying to open up the corner just that little bit more. If I do it right, again, going to use the painted curbing here, the Firestone. As I get on the backstretch, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to wind up all the way to the left side of the wall there. But if you do it right, you'll come about mid-track through turn, 7, 8, 9. Now we're hitting turn 10, heading to the hairpin at turn 11. Ideally, setting up for this next, you don't have to bring the car all the way back over to the right, nor do you want to be all the way to the left. So you want to be about the middle. I would say, we're in a parking lot here, so whatever works best for you. You can use the ES of the Firestone to kind of line yourself up, or you can even use this second parking spot that we're here, just a little to the left. I think either one of those gets you kind of lined up for the next corner. Still in third gear. As you cross under, it's just a lift, and I'm just trying to get it to the inside here. I'm going to clip the apex here and really try and keep the car to the left here, side here. I'll be off the throttle. I'll probably roll back into the throttle back here, full throttle, and keep it to the left side, setting up for the hairpin. For me, the braking into the hairpin is these Gell signs. And what I still need to kind of sort out is, do I need to brake as soon as I get to it? Can I brake halfway? Can I brake as I get past both of them? I think it's about halfway, ideally. But, I'll adjust how I take the hairpin here accordingly. So what I'm aiming for is, as I'm here, if you look at the hairpin, you'll see the Auto Club insurance, but then you can just barely make out the painted surface for the hairpin curbing. So I've got my eyes on that. So I'll brake. Second gear. This is where I'm going to differ from the, I'm probably going to differ from the braking line. Actually, let me bring that up here a second. Assists. And again, this is what I'm doing. This may not necessarily be the fastest way through it. We'll figure that out. I think a lot of it, we'll figure that out in practice. We'll figure that out in the race. So again, the game wants you to stay a little bit more to the left and then take a late apex out, which would be something I would probably try and do in higher horsepower cars, or dare I say, let's say we were racing Indy cars here. I would probably take more of that kind of line through here. But again, we're in a D-Class, front-wheel drive, CRX. I'm actually going to just compromise a little bit and do a more of a shorter distance to get onto the front stretch than follow that line there. Plus, that line does open you up for someone taking a lunge into the hairpin. This is the other place I think there's going to be quite a bit of contact. So again, I'm going to brake late. I'm going to aim for this first one, release the brakes, and I'm just going to hug the inside here and out and roll back into the throttle. And we'll see in the race if that's quicker or not. If I mess it up, if I mess the braking up getting in there, it might push me a little wide, fine. Then I can just release and kind of take the more traditional, late apex, the second half of the hairpin to get back onto the front straight. So then as I head back down towards start finish, I'll probably hold it here for a little bit. But as I get to the Toyota bridge, I'll start bringing the car back across again, so that as I'm crossing start finish line and getting into the why isn't this turn one? The curve on here on the front straightaway for Shoreline Drive. I'll be along the wall here. So again, 11 turns, very twisty technical street course with some good straights there. Hopefully we'll have some good racing here in a little over a week. So with that, let's go ahead and get rid of the full braking line. Braking only, that's all good. And I'm going to finish the test drive. So that's kind of my breakdown and things I'm looking for. But let's go ahead and get into race. I'm guesstimating based off my own test laps, initial test laps, and what I've got on Rivals right now. We're looking at maybe 20 to 21 laps. And again, it all depends what time Matt ultimately uses to do the calculation. Again, I just usually take my time, rounded up to the nearest second, convert that to seconds, then divide that into 2100 seconds, and that's usually about how I figure out for these what the laps will be. So, all right, I'm going to stop talking. Let's get into the race. Get into the race so I can start talking, because it's going to be a minute until I actually start. So for me, again, this is my home Grand Prix. My first Long Beach Grand Prix was 1994, and that I had just moved to Los Angeles in the previous January, and then I realized, like, oh my God, wait, Long Beach is here, and so I only had enough money to do general admission, so I spent the race kind of wandering the track, and then just made sure to try and make it back every year. I think I've only missed race day 3 times since I moved out here, and but it is a great event, and I'm so glad of it. I'm glad I could go back to it, even though they had to postpone it late in September in 2021, and then kind of back to normal in 2022. But my grandstand, where I normally sit, is it'll be the grandstand just past the Toyota bridge on the left side, grandstand 29. I think that's where I've been sitting for at least the last 10 years or so. All right, bring it back out here a little bit. Put it at 100. A little bit late, the back's a little loose, cold tires. You probably, if you're going to do it in second, you probably don't have to brake for that turn, but just be wary of the back end wanting to step out, especially on the opening lap or your out lap on pits. Just a little bit there. Oh, almost violated track limits there. Went in a little too early. Look for the 400 board. There it is. Left side. Yeah, push a little wide, but I can get back over to the E and the S. The main danger of that line that I take through there, because I'm trying to keep it as close to the wall as possible, is I run the risk of, either hitting it going in or maybe catching the rear of the car exiting. So we'll see how that plays out over the race. I wonder what the over-under is on laps until I hit that wall going into the fountain. You might be able to wind that out in third. Up to you. It just might mean you might be banging the rev limiter right when you get there. Oop, I downshifted, instinctively downshifted the second. But you can see second works there just as well. Again, it's really going to come down to comfort. I'm actually starting to follow the line a little more. Maybe I should turn the line off for the second half of the race and see how we do. I mean, I know the track well enough. I should be able to navigate it. Don't know if that'll set any blistering fast laps, but I should be able to get around Long Beach without the braking line. That's a little better. It's a little early on the turn in because I feel like it's pushing wide there. Lost the temp there at the end. That's a little better. I don't know that you'll need to go to first at all. I guess it would depend on how slow you are if you're caught up in traffic and how slow you're going through there. Hopefully we'll catch the traffic there eventually. That one out. A little bit late. Oh, I cut that one. That's about as close as you want to get to that wall. May not be the quickest. I'm trying to gauge what the RPMs of the car are as I'm getting back to throttle to see if, again, it's shortening the distance is fine, but if the revs are going to get so low the car's going to get logy coming out of the hairpin, then it's probably best to adjust the line. And can't talk and drive at the same time. Totally messed up turn one, though. Like we've caught traffic. The move I might try in the race is to try that crossover. The other place is, and again, the hairpin always is so tempting, but I think more often than not, when I've tried to stick a pass in there, I've either wound up getting my nose chopped and pushed into the hairpin, or in other cases I wind up spinning somebody out because I try to carry as much speed in, and end up popping them in the rear and spinning them out, and that doesn't help their race or mine, because just as a courtesy, it's like, yeah, I spun you out, I will wait till you get going and then rejoin the self-assessed penalty. Whoa. If you got someone on your outside there, be kind and try and give them a little room on the exit, because it's cutthroat and it's racing, but it's kind of cutthroat to try and, take an exit line and push somebody into the tires. The other nice thing about this line down the back straight is if you need to go defensive, you can just you can, and actually use the stop It's painted on the ground as a reference. Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. A real logie out. See, even that. Can't stop them. They got too much speed. Been one interesting. That was a brave move there, Mr. Mini. Oh, almost pushed it into the wall. Wanted to get back to the gas as soon as possible. Let's see if I can make a really bad pass here in the hairpin. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble that way. I mean, I did promise questionable racecraft. And as always, for these mock races, I will pit about halfway through. So it looks like pit window is going to open in and around the start of lap 9. And again, because it's a front-wheel drive car, I really don't feel comfortable committing back to the throttle until after I get to the apex. Just because I want to give the front tires, all right, you're steering right now, let me let you steer, and then we'll accelerate. Almost turned in too early. So yeah, I'm definitely taking a later turn in for turn 6 there. I don't know why I upshifted. I don't know why I downshifted. And again, releasing and turning in about the one board there for turn 9. We will box this lap. Oh, almost a little late there. Pit entry for Long Beach again is not difficult. I think the hardest part is if you're going to try and get in pit lane and you got traffic behind you. So again, we're all hopefully should be in the same chat. Because again, when you exit the hairpin, you're going to be all the way on the left side, and then you're going to need to get all the way back to the right side to get into the pit lane. So hopefully we can do that. I was about at the 2, and that was way too deep. I don't think I downshifted either. That doesn't help. Way out, and it's right there. So, on your own, it should be very easy pit lane to get in. It's just where it gets complicated is if you got traffic behind you, especially if somebody's tried to move, on the inside of you on the exit of the hairpin, that can make entry a little problematic. So, again, we'll sort it out on race day. Definitely the longest pit lane, I think, I won't say in the game, but it's definitely the longest pit lane this season, I believe. So plenty of time to take a drink, which I'm going to do right now. Pardon me for a moment. Very long pit lane. I think to rejoin, I think we kind of use the same rule that they do in the actual race. Is you're going to stay to the left all the way up to the edge, brake about the 2, turn late there. Once you get past the double yellow line. And then just reminder that the back car is going to be a little bit squirrely on turn in until the back tires warm up. A little bit late on the braking there, so honestly, we'll see how it plays out in the race, but I get the feeling that if you do make, that inside move in the hairpin, that you're going to be so logy exiting if you can't get all the way to the right, that the person on the outside should just be able to outpower you out of the corner and have the advantage going into turn 1. But these are some of the things that we'll hopefully be able to kind of mess with in practice. That might be the better line. Let's see. I'll at least have this lap. Well, I don't know how clear this lap will be. We do definitely have a definite advantage. Ooh, bad rejoin, bad rejoin, bad rejoin. Come on, get going. Yeah, it's so easy to turn in early there, but the risk of clipping that wall is really high. So again, try and do that left-hander onto Pine Avenue there a little bit later than you think. At least a little bit later than I think. Playing with pits. Nice. I'm hitting that point in the race where I'm not braking as heavily into turn one as I should. And we're going to set up a little bit wider. Looking for... see if we can... Well, these cars don't draft, but... really sticking with him. Come on, get moving. That would have totally been a time penalty, but... That's the other thing. I don't know how severe those penalties are. That would have been a time penalty. Again, really easy to use too much of that curbing. Hoping to get to the inside there. VTech, yo! It's like, I don't know what he was thinking. It's like, I was there. You can't turn through me. Oops. Fourth place. Well, I'll put it this way: if Lord Caven has pitted, I don't think I will catch him. The other two I might. Running over somebody's mirror back there. I'm flirting with that wall. Okay, well, this lap won't be clean, but then I'll have at least a couple more laps to try and improve my time, unless this guy tries to... It's probably as much as you can cut that curve, those curvings, without getting a time penalty. Well, there goes the mirror. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. Oh, wait. Oh! Lord Caven pitted. Well, how about that? And that is probably about as close as you want to get to those tire bundles without hitting them. Oh, very late. Very, very late. Probably lost a couple of tenths there. Let's see what we can do. It's somebody's mirror there. Oh my. How did I not hit the concrete wall in the hairpin? I don't know, but it's quicker. 149. Okay, so there might still be tenths here or there, but that's about as quick as I've been running. So that is Long Beach in the Honda CRX. Again, excuse me. Historically, the last at least 3 races I remember here in lower class cars. We did like a B class IROC Z. I think I'm not sure if the Clio, what class the Clio was in. It might have been higher, but it was still a hot hatch. And then I think the other one was the Chevy Cruze touring cars. So maybe a little bit higher classes, but usually Long Beach does produce some good racing as far as, especially late in the race, everybody kind of congests together. So hopefully we'll get the same kind of good racing there in the CRX at Long Beach. So with that, I'm going to call it a night. I probably won't do the VIR track guide until after Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, guys. Happy racing, and we'll see you soon.